Oklahoma's Asian community continues to grow in terms of size and influence. They now have their own Chamber of Commerce, and many of their children are thriving in our schools and universities. In this week's in-depth discussion, moderator Susan Cadeau learns more about the hopes and concerns of this rapidly growing demographic.
Rich, this is an exciting time for cultural and economic development in Oklahoma City. We want it to spread statewide. We have some folks who are on the cusp of this movement joining us today to dig a little deeper. I'd like to introduce them to you now. We have Scarlett Leckow, who is the president of the Greater Oklahoma City Asian Chamber of Commerce. We have Andrea Schulz, who is the executive director of the Asian District Cultural Association of Oklahoma City. And we have Toon Nguyen, who is on the founding board of the Asian Chamber of Commerce, and he was a founder of the Asian District Cultural Association. I'd like to welcome all of you today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Scarlett, we are going to begin with you. What an exciting time. Tell us about the Asian Chamber of Commerce and why it's vital to the community.
The Greater Oklahoma City Asian Chamber of Commerce was just got founded. So the story was last year there was a small group of entrepreneurs and community leaders from different businesses and backgrounds. We met and we sat together with the realizations of the growing populations of the Asian Americans in our city areas. So in fact, the Asian community is one of the fastest growing populations in our city, our state, and in the country. So we decided to let's start an Asian chamber, and now we serve in the Oklahoma City areas with nearly 50,000 Asian residents. And with that, we have learned that we own more than 5,300 businesses, generate more than 203 million in payroll. And the most important number is we contributed $1.25 billion in sales.
Those are stunning numbers. June, I want to come to you. What is the reason for the increase in the Asian population in Oklahoma City and the state?
We just believe that Oklahoma is such even our governor and our mayor stated this, it's a melting pot. The economic growth and development has occurred, and that we are significantly across the country. We're like significantly the ones that are more affordable housing, like country. I mean, we have more affordable housing, just greater opportunities for earning income and starting businesses. We are a state that heavily involves a lot of our small business owners. And so I feel like that's like a thriving model for a lot of people.
Well, Scarlett, I want to come to you now. Do you think a move like this, the cohesion, the organization, will attract more, will increase the Asian population in Oklahoma City, at least at first?
Yes, absolutely. I actually came from Vietnam. I came to Oklahoma into the end of 2005. Honestly, when I first came here, lots of people asked me, why Oklahoma? And honestly, when I first landed here, I have goosebumps when I talk about this, but I am blown away how friendly and welcoming Oklahoma to me personally. And that's the feeling that all of us here have got as an immigrants. And we feel like everyone here embrace us, embrace our culture. And that's why we thrive in this environment, because we feel safe and we can grow a lot stronger. That's why these two organizations, we are sister and brother organizations, they are very critical for the Asian communities in Oklahoma, because they want the sense of belonging, very important to us. With those two organizations, we feel like our culture has been appreciated. And also with the Asian Chamber, we will help with the economic development to guide them through to grow, to raise a family, have a job. And that's actually one of our goals as well as an Asian Chamber, is to recruit more Asian businesses and Asian talents to Oklahoma City areas.
Okay, I want to get into some meatier issues that faces the Asian community nationwide. Oklahoma seems a little insulated from some of the troubles that other larger cities see, but I do want to talk about national issues. The American students have a higher, Asian American students have a higher test score in education, but the admission rates to Ivy League schools like Harvard do not reflect that. Is the model minority myth continuing to harm Asian Americans? And you can speak to it if you guys have conversations with your family or friends. You can speak to the nationwide issue, but I'd also like you to address, does that have an impact here in Oklahoma or no?
I think it still is harmful. I mean, what started out as a positive, when you say model minority, has now come around to be a harmful, almost unachievable standard for many of our students that feel the pressure, or if they choose another career that may not be a typical option or what our families value. And so it's causing a lot of emotional stress on our current students who are trying to choose their career or figure out what options are available when they only see a couple. And if they are unable to meet that standard, it can make them feel a lot of shame and guilt. And so that is one of our missions with our Youth Empowerment Conference, is to show the different opportunities and resources that are available, like to not only go to college, but other career options that can also set them up for a successful future. And again, those are resources that we didn't necessarily have growing up, but I think are now starting to come to light as more people are talking about the model minority myth, especially how it is affecting college age students as they're at the start of their career.
What is the Youth Empowerment Conference?
Yeah, so that is a conference the Asian District Cultural Association started last year in partnership with Mid-America Christian University. It is just a half-day panel from local professionals around the city who come and speak to a group. Last year was the first one we had, and we had about 100 students come out, and they were able to just get a one-on-one experience with all sorts of different professionals. Like Toon, for an example, was one of the panelists last year. Local doctors, teachers, from all different Asian descent and background as well, just to speak into these kids of their experience, to say, hey, I know what it's like to be sitting where you are right now in school, trying to figure out what direction to take in life. And maybe I did or did not have the support of my family, but what that felt like, what that looked like, and how they were able to get to the position they are. And that concept has really resonated with both Mid-America and other local universities. So right now we have plans to partner with them again on May 4th to host another one, and hoping this becomes an annual event, if not multiple times a year.
Scarlett, Jen, I want to come to you in a minute on a different issue, but I do want to pivot to Scarlett on this, on the education, the young people coming up in the workforce. How much interest does your chamber have in what's happening with your young people?
Yeah, so let me explain about the history of the Asian Americans. So our parents, when they first came to America, in order for them to survive, they worked in minimum wage jobs, like in factoring or in restaurants. And for them, so the easiest way for us to get out of that cycle is to get into the some of the careers, such as engineering, doctors, lawyers. That's the fastest turnaround for us to get out of that cycle. Oh. So with that, it creates the tensions between the first and the second generations. It creates a lot of pressures, just like Andrea said, and they just focus, you need to study really good at school and nothing else. And that's actually not healthy. So us at the Asian Chamber, we realized that, and we call ourselves as the 1.5 generations. So we want to bridge the gap between the first generations and the second generations.
Toon, I do want to come to you. Another issue, and yes, if you want to talk to education before I move to the next issue, that's fine.
I'm going to talk to education because I feel like I am the proponent of this 1.5 generation, Okay, I was pushed to go towards the medical field, but I ended up not pursuing that. And I feel like for our younger generation, it is important because we're now seeing a big movement in the film industry, actors. We're seeing a more lively, and especially me, and taking in the position to run for office. I feel that our younger generation needs to feel that they are impactful in part of our community into leadership roles in like politics and things to get more involved in our local community, our state legislature, and our country especially. So I really think that this is like a setting point for us.
You know, the evolution of one culture affects every other culture. I think it's an exciting time that we're witnessing right now. Too, and something that's not exciting, that's a tragedy. I want to talk to you about the tragedy of the Lunar New Year Festival in California. How has crime against Asian Americans grown since the pandemic?
It has significantly grown, and we see it on the East Coast, on the West Coast, and true condolences to all that is involved and that lives have been lost, and the families and friends that have been impacted by this event. But I'm hoping that this event is not just it isn't something that triggers people to think that it's a hate crime all the time. But there's still investigations going on and seeing that go on. However, after COVID has happened, there has been an increase in Asian hate crimes on all levels, on different East and West Coast. But however, in Oklahoma, we don't see that as much coming out. It's because our state is significantly a friendlier state. However, our Asian community does feel an impact in racial slurs and just things that people are more evident of when you go to the grocery stores, and just things to be cautious of.
Andrea, I was going to come to you next. Let's talk about that. And then later we found out it was an elderly Asian man involved in the first one. Some people start talking about Asian on Asian crime, but it seems like an anomaly, a one-off, a troubled person. What's the talk in the Asian community about this?
I think that this example was especially hard for us to witness, to see that it came from a member of our own community and was an elderly person as well. I think that has gone to show just how much emotional turmoil and stress our community has been put through the past couple of years since the pandemic, with the increase in discrimination, hate crimes, microaggressions, things like that have trickled down to anyone who is Asian American, have experienced that at least somewhat of an increase, even here in Oklahoma. And so seeing that happen in California, again, there has been multiple decades of minimal, if no, mental health resources for our elderly community. It has been kind of a taboo topic as well within our community. And so seeing an event like this.
I want to stop right there. Why is it a taboo? It's a taboo topic for a lot of people. Mental illness is not treated like a regular illness, which is too bad, but especially in the Asian community, why?
Mental illness is really a taboo in our cultures, not just the older generations, but also for others as well. So when they say something about mental illness in my cultures, in my language, it's called ding. It means you're crazy. So it's absolutely like a complete rejection when you say you have anything with mental illness. And it means a very broad though, even like depressions, it can be a mental illness. I myself fighting with depressions. Not a lot of people know that. And I want to be the voice to talk about it. When I first diagnosed with depressions, is very hard, even for me to digest that information. And my husband helped me throughout the process. And I'm still taking the antidepressants medications every day. But I want to be the voice to speak out. It is normal. We battle it throughout everyday life, but we're going to make it better because of those organizations we have here. We have the Asian Culture District and also the Asian Chamber. our organizations will be the voice for the Asian communities to make us unify and represent for ourselves.
Because a lot of our Asian elderly, they don't believe in mental health as a disease process. They really tend to, and growing up with first generation mom as such, they, once you tell them that you're experiencing such, we're just like a group of Asian American minorities that just always keeps our head down and work hard no matter what, just like hoping the hard work that we put into it, it just outcomes like all of any kind of traumatic experiences and such. And so and that's the thing is like there's not been education around our elderly generation to know what mental health is. They don't know that term.
Listen, our time is up. There's so much more to discuss. I want to have you all back to talk about this, but I want to thank all of you for your time and wish everyone the best, and we look forward to the future.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.